main floor, and we're making our way around, looking in some of these rooms here. And we see where someone set something on fire here. A piece of wood. You know, there's various reasons why people set things on fire. A lot of times, just like homeless people, you know, in the wintertime trying to keep warm, or mischievous individuals, talking about youth, and some misguided adults whose mental mindset has been arrested. Somebody's been through here, had a pack of squares or cigarettes. Yeah, but as I was saying earlier on about the different types of people that you would possibly meet in alternative education programs, they come from, like I stated before, they come from various walks of life. Some of them black, some of them white, some of them brown, some of them red, yellow, some of them from foreign lands, some of them, but for the most part, most of them are from here. I remember when I was going to this school, the guy I was hanging out with was a Polish guy, a guy from Hamtramck, a white guy from Hamtramck. And we used to go in the back, and this is confession time once again, smoke a little herb, and we used to go across the street to the store that I was pointing to, and you know, have one of the drunks or alcoholics would give them some money to go in the buy us a 40. And we would come back to class all buzzed up and stoned. Somebody here has a political message. Greed, the decay of mankind. And I totally agree. And this brings me to another point, brothers and sisters, of how people think that just because people, quote unquote, got it going on, making money hand over fist or ripping people off, people got it twisted that somehow these people are so morally upright and upstanding. But, you know, nothing becomes of greed, because there's a lot of people that get hurt in the long run. And we almost done with this tour. And if you notice, I don't like going into no buildings at night, because there's a lot of illegal activity. And one of the things that I would like to challenge too is the politicians to go through some of these buildings. And I'm not talking about with the cameras or anything. I'm talking about just go through and look at the hazards and dangers. And I would be willing to take them on a tour of some of these buildings to show them the decay and the blight that the city of Detroit is facing. I mean, the way I see it is, and these right here are some nice wooden pieces. You can't find wooden pieces like this anymore. I'm sure somebody's collecting these, or not collecting them, but they're gonna use these in probably some of the houses that's over in the Boston Edison district. What I would like to do is take the politicians through, and we could talk about some of the decay. I mean, it's not enough to just talk about it and sit in city council chambers and then debate it and talk about demolition contracts, because believe it or not, some of these buildings, I'm not gonna say can be salvaged, but some of the material can be salvaged. Like these rails right here, these wooden rails. Those could be pulled off and they could be salvaged, because as I stated before, the grade of wood today is nothing compared to the wood of yesteryear. That's just a thought. But you know, hey, who am I? I'm Dex Davison, aka Brother I Am Broke, the Urban Explorer. And the other thing is too, is that there's so much that can be done. And sometimes people need to take off the blinders and really look around. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go down these steps here. This is the way we're going to go. Now back to what I was saying about the alternative education programs. The alternative education programs, brothers and sisters, There are so many facets to it. I remember you got the GED program, you got the high school completion program, you also where you actually get your high school diploma. Then also you had the job training program. Then also you had the other aspect of that type of program. This is where we came in before we came down below. Where you have some students that were under court supervision, on probation, and it was mandatory for them to get their high school diplomas or GED. Then you had some of the schools where you could learn a trade. That was an alternative education program also. Now I'm gonna say this one more time. If these walls could talk, they probably would have 1,000,000 stories to tell. Now, from what I understand too, the top of the building was the original building. If I'm not mistaken, I think that this was the extension, which was built on to back in the 60s, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. And somebody asked me a question, have I ever did any urban exploration with other people? I'm like, no, because basically I'm a lone wolf. And I know my limitations, and I'm not going to do anything foolish to try to get myself hurt or injured. I basically take it one room at a time, and I concentrate. And one of the things that I don't believe in is, if you're doing urban exploration, never go into a structure high or drunk. And if you're not sure about a room, don't go into it. That's the reason why I don't do basements, because you never know what you're going to find in a basement or what condition the basement is going to be in. And you don't know how structurally sound a building is, because, a lot of these buildings have went through a whole lot. A lot of old drywall there. Make our way around here. And see, that's what I was saying about the scrappers. Have gotten more bolder and more sophisticated, because now they're tearing out bricks and everything. And every time I think about them using propane torches and shit, I think about what happened at the Arnold home either late last year or either earlier this year, where one of these I-beams, they tried to pull it out and the whole structure fell in on them. And it was so tragic that they couldn't be dug out. They had to use heavy machines and heavy equipment to dig them out. We'll go over here real quick. And the reason why, too, brothers and sisters, that I think that it would be good that the city council and the politicians to go through a lot of these buildings without the cameras, so they can actually discuss and talk about, implement a plan, because there's no way you can implement a plan unless you actually see the problem. There's no way. And we're coming out now to the parking lot or the parking structure, and we see we got people coming back and forth. And this is the outside of the Carolyn Crosman school. And as I was stating before, you had different people from different walks of life coming in here to this school. Basically coming in, trying to get their education. And as you can see, brothers and sisters, this is a massive, well, I ain't gonna say massive, but it's a pretty nice size structure. They even have a 4th floor if you go up. Like an attic or a storage space. But we're not gonna go up there. We're just going to stick to the parts where we can get in and get out of. And right now what we're doing is, like I said before, we're in the parking lot, we're looking around, just taking a look. And this right here is the part, the extension part that was built on some years later. And as I was saying about that store over there, that store is notoriously known. They used to sell drugs out of there. They used to all types of illegal activity. But you know, as I stated before, that's another story within itself. Well, anyway, this is Brother I Am Broke, the Urban Explorer, over here on Claremont in the John C. Lodge Service Drive at the Carolyn Crosman school that was built back in 1911, over 100 years ago. And I hope that everyone enjoyed the video tour. And as I stated before, the reason why I'm trying to catch as many of these old schools while they're still standing, because, you know, they're here today, they're gone tomorrow, and they'll be torn down. And hopefully this could be a record where people can study and look at what these buildings was like, and then maybe talk to some of the former students and get their perspective on what this school was like and what the other schools were like. But not just schools, churches, manufacturing plants, and the whole 9 yards. And my name is Brother I Am Broke, the Urban Explorer, and I'm out of here. Till next time, peace.